Peggy 18.
Sabir, divert and deploy all available assets immediately.
Holy shit.
Let's get to the tower. Go, go, go! Fix the house.
Biggest surprise attack in the history of the world. How could they not have seen this coming? It's one of our own.
We have no precedent for this. We have no playbook for this. And apparently, we have little time.
Let me make our situation absolutely clear. We are now at war with the Settlement Defense Front. Godspeed, Captains.
You got eyes on this, Reyes?
Affirmative.
Let's get in there.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Lowe with Activision, and what you just saw was Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, the next Call of Duty game from the team at Infinity Ward and launching around the world on November 4th. As you can see, Infinite Warfare takes the series to a broad new setting, introducing new characters, a new universe, a new story. And as you can imagine, in the months ahead, we're going to be showing and talking about quite a bit, but we wanted to kick things off today with a behind-the-scenes discussion with the developers to learn more about the campaign, dive a little bit into multiplayer and co-op, as well as Modern Warfare Remastered, which you may have noticed there at the end of the trailer. That's very exciting. It's real, it's happening, and we're going to talk about it in just a little bit. But first, we're going to talk about the campaign and the story. And to share their insight, I'm joined now by Jacob Minkoff, Design Director, as well as Taylor Kurosaki, Narrative Director. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So for those of us outside of the game development realm, what do your jobs entail as it pertains to the studio and this game in particular?
Well, I'm the narrative director of the game, which means I'm in charge of all things sort of story related and narrative presentation related. So that means the story, the scenes, the writing, the casting the game, the characters in the game, and then of course directing the performance capture here at this studio we're at right now.
And design from that perspective?
Design director, so my job is to make sure that we are implementing all of that in-game in a way that makes the emotions, the characters come across properly. You know, I focus on visual design language, mechanics, you know, making sure that the player's experience on the stick conveys all of the emotions that Taylor's scripts and performances and everything are intended to evoke.
So the two of you actually have quite a bit of experience doing narrative-driven experiences in games, most recently at Naughty Dog before coming to Infinity Ward. What drew you to the Call of Duty franchise in this project in particular?
Well, I mean, speaking for myself, I've been a fan of Call of Duty since the beginning. I remember playing the first Call of Duty. It really, it blew my mind. The first time I saw a dude put his back up against a wall and, like, you know, he's got his gun and he's, like, peeking around the corner, and it created so much more tension for me because I believed in the stakes of the moment. I believed that it was dangerous, and you know, that was kind of a turning point for me because I realized how important NPC performances are in making you buy into the world and believe in the world. And in every game I've shipped in my career. And, you know, when the opportunity arose to work on a Call of Duty, I was, you know, super excited to do that. And on top of that, the Infinite Warfare project itself is extremely exciting to anyone who likes video games at all.
Yeah, ditto for me. I've been a huge fan of the series of Modern Warfare, Crew Expendable. Like, what an incredible opening to a game. I just remember it just taking me into that place, and I didn't want to leave. And so for us, I think the opportunity to sort of work in the Call of Duty franchise, which is known for, you know, incredible set pieces and incredible visuals and rock solid 60 frames per second action, and to be able to infuse our sort of narrative philosophy into that just seemed like an incredible opportunity.
Well, and speaking of narrative, let's talk about probably the biggest question on everyone's minds with regards to Infinite Warfare, which of course is the setting. What was the motivation to bring it to space, and you know, what were kind of the opportunities there for you guys?
I mean, first and foremost, the motivation was the enthusiasm of the team. We all wanted to make this game. We could feel it in our bones. Like, no one was going to tell us no. This was the game we absolutely wanted to make. It was the game we knew we needed to make. The opportunity to take this trademark Call of Duty feel, this boots on the ground, authentic military feel, and take it into this new setting. You know, to take, in some ways, the familiar, meaning that like gritty, authentic war feeling, and take it into a new setting was super exciting, and it was an opportunity we couldn't pass up.
You know, in Infinite Warfare, the world is dependent on resources from outposts throughout the solar system. You know, Earth has been stripped of its natural resources, you know, kind of like we see today, peak oil, climate change, and now the resources that we need are out there in space. You know, it's been said that the first trillionaire is going to be whoever first mines an asteroid. So you have that sort of money out there, you're going to have war. There's going to be militarization, no question about it. So in our world, where the people and countries of Earth are reliant on these outposts for the fuel and other resources that they need, there's a brutal, insurgent, militarized group called the Settlement Defense Front that rises to attempt to take control of all of these resources. The Settlement Defense Front is this brutal fascist group that wants to completely control all of the outposts throughout the solar system, and to essentially hold the countries of Earth in a stranglehold by virtue of having a complete control and embargo on all of the resources that the people of Earth need to survive.
So in terms of like envisioning that universe and kind of building it from the ground up in that way, but maintaining that feel, alongside of that, what has the new setting from a creative standpoint in terms of gameplay kind of afforded you that another setting probably wouldn't have had?
Well, I mean, of course, new environments, right? Space allows us to take the player to places that they've never been in Call of Duty before. So, we have dogfighting in space, in a convertible space fighter that switches between zero-G and atmospheric combat. And of course we have all of the boots-on-ground combat that you're used to on Earth, but then we also have the experience of fighting in zero-G, grappling around the outside of a ship that you're trying to board. And we have, for instance, a mission where you are on the surface of an asteroid spinning out of control close to the sun, where it's 2,000 degrees in the sunlight and negative 200 degrees in the shade. And you have to be focused not only on the guys in front of you and creating cover there, but also you need cover against the sun so you don't get fried by it. So it creates these new gameplay challenges and these new pressures on the characters that are totally unique to Infinite Warfare.
So, character development seems to be a big part of this. I mean, whether it's, on the settlement defense front side and like kind of making them a believable enemy, as well as, the relationships you as a captain have with your crew. How are you guys bringing these characters to life? I mean, we're here on this performance capture stage. It's not just a pretty set, like it's something you guys are actively using, right?
No, we've been shooting for a little over a year now. We don't just kind of get everyone together and shoot over a few days. We like to look at our production more like shooting on a episodic TV series. We have actors that are committed to working on this project with us from beginning to end. And as we get to know the characters better, as we get to know the actors better, we can tailor those performances and those roles to what's really true about the character for them. And so we've got a shoot here tomorrow, actually. One of our last shoots in the game. But it's been incredible to have this facility, because what it allows us to do is as you can hear, it's incredibly quiet here. It's a acoustically perfect space. And so we can capture each actor's movements, their voices, their facial expressions, all at one go. And it allows these characters to really be in these scenes and acting and listening and responding to each other in a very natural, believable way. Also, we think that our voiceovers in this game are going to be much more realistic, because we don't do any voiceovers in a recording booth, where an actor is sort of forced to sit on a stool in front of a giant microphone, and they can't move too much because it changes the acoustic properties of their voice too much. Instead, we have wireless microphones, and again, these helmet-mounted cameras capturing their expressions, and they're able to run around the space. They're able to throw themselves into cover. They're able to grab a gun and shout that a grenade is coming, or crawl up next to each other and whisper because we're doing a stealthy infill. And again, I think that's really going to transport the player into this universe really effectively.
Like the believability of this whole world is paramount to us, right? Everything is about buying into it, thinking like, oh yeah, that could happen, that is real, and these characters do act that way, and I do buy into their performances. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why, so like in this story, you only are fighting within the solar system the whole time, and there are no aliens. You're fighting other humans, right? This is, again, like, we're looking for the most grounded, believable conflict you could possibly have in space, and that goes from the character performances and motivations all the way through the environments and the plot.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to walk me through it. I really appreciate it. I understand you guys actually have a clip to kind of highlight some of the performance capture process with an introduction from Captain Reyes himself, so that's pretty awesome. So we'll check that out, and then after that, we're going to come back and talk about multiplayer, co-op, and of course, Modern Warfare Remastered. So roll the clip.
Hey guys, I'm Brian Bloom. I play Captain Nick Reyes, your player character. And today we're going to get a sneak peek behind the scenes at some performance capture footage from the all-new, upcoming Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. This is a scene I wrote with Jake and Taylor where Captain Reyes and Staff Sergeant Omar are planning a mission to go behind enemy lines and scout an LZ for reinforcements. Here at the Infinity Ward motion capture stages, We created some incredible, amazing characters that should be memorable and add to your gameplay experience. So without further ado, let's take a look at some raw performance capture video from Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
You been down to Titan?
I have.
Ops?
No. Pops. Dad was a tank farmer. Worked the pipelines for about 30 years. Retired just before the SDF took it over.
Let's go give him hell.
Bet your ass. This has been a long time coming.
How are we executing?
Joint operation? You and me. Our copy.
Affirmative. Armed recon? Small team. We're invading a denied area.
Yeah, silver lining around that reticle is SetDef didn't ask permission then, and we're not asking permission now.
My jacks are already standing by.
You just do what you did at the gateway. We'll zip this place right up.
Proud to be of service, Sergeant.
Pride is 100% bona fide bullshit, Rays. You just make sure the mission comes first.
Copy that. Sure, the sergeant is well aware that the word proud is right in the Navy creed.
I knew there was something I didn't like about you sons of bitches. That explains the white uniform and the submarines.
Submarines?
Yeah. Only the Navy could build a ship designed to sink.
Let's gear up and get evil.
Sure thing.
All right, well, we're back, and of course, it wouldn't be Call of Duty if we didn't talk at least a little bit about multiplayer and cooperative, and of course, a little teaser there at the end, Modern Warfare Remastered. And so to give us all of the intel, I'm joined by Joe Seacott, lead designer on the multiplayer team, Brian Bright, project director on the cooperative mode, and Eric Monticelli, director of studio communications. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Joe, since you're closest to me, let's start with multiplayer. How has this new setting kind of influenced from a design perspective and opened up new doors for you?
I mean, as a designer, that's really opened the floodgates for us. Like, we're not kind of chained to modern. We can kind of make new toys, create new mechanics, and we can take players to places they've never been before. You know, we have some really good multiplayer maps that take place on Earth, but we also have a multiplayer map up in a space station. We have multiplayer maps on other planets within our solar system. So just being able to kind of bring players, or have the opportunity to bring players there is just really exciting for us. We also have kind of new mechanics. You know, new mechanics I can't talk about right now, but we have kind of a whole new stable of lethals and tacticals for the player to kind of engage with and to try, and you're going to see some of that in our upcoming trailers, and it's pretty spectacular.
Well, speaking of the trailers, we saw a little bit, you know, on the campaign side, you know, these, you know, zero-G dogfights and these, like, you know, ship-based battles. Is that coming into multiplayer at all, or is it mainly still on that kind of person-to-person combat?
We always share, like, we work closely with the campaign team and they work closely with us, so like a lot of tech went into the Jackal and the flying, and we have that tech in MP, but we're very, very careful to preserve the core of what makes Call of Duty just the best shooter out there. Our team plays a ton of Black Ops 3. You know, we watched it on the CWL, and we've gotten to build off of kind of their map design and what they learned. So it's really, I think, hitting the mark, and it is future, but it's still the Call of Duty that you love.
Awesome. Well, I know it's very early days, and I'm sure there's a lot more you want to tell us, but thank you for telling us what you could, at least.
Yes.
All right, Brian, you're up next. Let's talk about cooperative. What's going on in Infinite Warfare?
Well, I'm pleased to announce that for the first time ever, Infinity Ward is doing zombies. So I've got a really experienced team, awesome team working on this. You know, we've done Chaos Mode as a team for Modern Warfare 3 with Joe's help, and then we did all the whole Extinction series from Ghosts. And you know, now we're all super big fans of zombies and all the things that both Sledge and Treyarch have done with zombies and Raven in the past. And so we're taking that, and we're excited that we're able to kind of finally do our own take on zombies. And it's its own completely different universe. It's a separate universe from what Treyarch's doing. It's a separate universe from Infinite Warfare. We have something like truly unique and different, and people haven't seen before. And I think, I'm sure that the fans are going to love it.
Well, speaking of the fans, if there's one thing I know about Zombies fans, they are ravenous, and they go crazy for Easter eggs. I know it's a big priority for Extinction and some of your other work, but is that something you're embracing as well for Zombies?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we just scratched the surface on Extinction, but in Zombies, I mean, we love the Easter eggs. We love, it's what gives the game life on YouTube, And what's step 21 of getting this particular weapon quest? People love that stuff. It really drives like replayability as well, and so. Being such a big fan of the work that the other studios have done with Easter eggs, we're taking it even one step further, and can't be more excited. And it'll be interesting to see how many of the Easter eggs fans, actually find, and how long it takes them to find these things.
Awesome. Well, I understand you actually have a little something you could show today.
I do. Yeah, I have an image we're going to show now.
All right. Well, I'm sure the community is going to spend countless hours kind of pining over that, gleaning whatever detail they can. All right, Brian, thanks so much. I'm excited to see what you guys do with Zombies.
Hold that up in their black light. Some Easter eggs.
Yeah, make sure you post it online.
Yeah.
So thanks again, Brian. Eric, let's move on to you. Let's talk about something very near and dear to my heart, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, we were really inspired by the community. There's been a voracious outpouring for Remastered ever since, the new console generation came along, and this year we're able to do it. We're working very closely with Raven. We're executive producing and overseeing the game. Personally for me, just being a fan of the franchise, I'm thinking back, Taylor had mentioned that Crew Expendable was one of his favorite levels. I love that opening too, but my personal favorite was All Gillied Up. I think
Mine
Joe,
as well, yeah.
Yeah, that was Joe's personal favorite. We were talking.
I like One Shot, One Kill.
Yeah, One Shot, One Kill, which I love too, because that was, you started in All Gillied Up, you're in this stealth mode, you're sort of creeping through the weeds, and then you get to the end of that level, and then all of a sudden you're in One Shot, One Kill, with this is like brutal firefight near a Ferris wheel, and I remember just like throwing my controller in frustration, and I'm looking forward to that experience again, because it was really rewarding when I got through it, and it's going to be awesome to play again.
Well, I got to tell you, looking at the footage, just what little bit there was there at the end of the trailer, it looked incredible. What is some of the work that's going on behind the scenes to kind of bring it into this new console generation?
Yeah, Raven's really amping up everything. They went back and, we're sticking true to the core original vision of the game, but they're looking back at the textures and reworking those completely from the ground up to make them have that fidelity that you expect from current console generations. It's going to look vibrant, it's going to look brilliant, it's going to look like something amazing when you play this game. Also, the sounds are being reworked. There's audio rework being done, revamping all that. There's new Foley that was recorded, different things like that, especially new techniques too. Since 2007 the game came out, which is 10,
it's hard to believe it's been that long. Yeah.
It's 9 or 10 years, which is crazy to think about. And there's a ton of techniques. So like dynamic lighting's been worked in, new visual effects, just a lot of processing and a lot of new tech that's been pushed on there.
Yeah, well, we've talked a lot about the campaign, and we all have our kind of marquee moments. But of course, multiplayer was a huge component. How does that factor into Remastered?
Yeah, multiplayer was one of my favorite things to do too. It sort of revolutionized multiplayer for the games industry at large. It was this new experience that was remarkable. And what you're going to get with Modern Warfare Remastered is you're going to have 10 multiplayer maps, some of fan favorites. Crash was one of my personal favorites.
Backlot, yeah.
Yeah, Backlot. So you'll have, some really awesome maps to play on. And then you're going to have your prestige, your kill streaks, all the progression stuff you remember too, and familiar modes and things like that. So you're going to have a good multiplayer experience. It's going to be really killer to get into.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And if you missed the news at the end of the trailer there, it's being bundled with Infinite Warfare as part of the Legacy editions as well as the Digital Deluxe. So yeah, it's going to be awesome to dive into both games. Taking a step back, kind of reflecting on all we've talked about on the stream, it's been quite a bit. So when can fans kind of look forward to the next big announcement or news about Infinite Warfare?
E3 is right around the corner. It's coming in June, and we're going to have a lot of surprises up our sleeve, looking to show fans some really unique stuff then. So make sure you mark that on your calendars, because it's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to be here and kind of unravel a little bit what little you could this early on. So yeah, thank you so much. So Remember, this is just day one. There is so much to talk about over the months to come, and you'll be able to follow along on all of Call of Duty's channels as well as Infinity Ward's channels as well. So on behalf of everyone at Activision and Infinity Ward, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Unknown. Unidentified settlement ships. You are moving into a restricted situation.
They just opened fire. We're f***ing fire. Data guns are attacking our airship. Pilot pit.
This is a full-blown...
Oh my god.
We are getting breaking news out of Switzerland.
Geneva has suffered a massive attack.
Death count continues to rise, and there's no end in sight. This is Top Cat Sovereign. Divert and deploy all available assets immediately.
Holy shit.
Let's get to the tower! Go! Fix the house!
Biggest surprise attack in the history of the world. How could they not have seen this coming? It's one of our own.
We have no precedent for this. We have no playbook for this. And apparently, we have little time.
Let me make our situation absolutely clear. We are now at war with the Settlement Defense Front. Godspeed, captains.
You got eyes on this, Reyes?
Affirmative. Let's get in there.
Pre-order the Legacy Edition and get Modern Warfare Remastered.